Yeah, today in class we talked about converting fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions, and then both fractions and decimals to percents. So a couple of things we need to talk about first and foremost is the definition of all three of those things. Okay, so a percent is based on the number in terms of 100. All it means is per 100. So when we talk about a percent, we're talking about like something, a nice round number out of 100. So when we take a test, we typically don't have 100 questions. However, we do have a score out of 100, okay, because we have a percent. A fraction is based on the number being divided as a whole, okay? So like if we have the whole divided into fourths, we might say a fractional piece is like 3/4. Okay, and then last but not least is a decimal, and a decimal is based on the number in terms of tenths, hundredths, thousandths, based on those place values. So fractions and decimals and percents are all related, and they can easily be converted from one another. So for example, if we had the fraction 3/4, okay, it is the same as the decimal 0.75 and the same as the percent 75% out of 100. So what we're going to work on today is converting all three of these, from a fraction to a decimal to a percent. Okay, so first off, when we're converting a fraction to a decimal, what we're going to do is we're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. And we did this back in our fractions unit. All you have to do is take the numerator divided by the denominator and show your long division. Then, to get from a decimal to a percent, what you're going to do is you're going to move the decimal points 2 spaces to the right, or multiply that decimal by a 100. Okay, so if you're going from a decimal to a percent, all you have to do is swing that decimal point 2 places to the right, or multiply it by 100. Okay, from a percent to a decimal, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to move the decimal point 2 spaces to the left, or divide the number by 100. Okay. To take a percent to a fraction, you're going to place the number over 100. So you're going to take the percent, you're going to put it over 100 and simplify if you can. Okay. From a fraction to a percent, you're going to take that fraction, you're going to multiply it by 100, and you're going to attach the percent sign. And then from a decimal to a fraction, what you're going to do is you're going to use place value, and you're either going to, if the decimal is in the tenths place, you're going to place it over 10. If the decimal goes to the hundredths place, you're going to place it over the hundredths. If it goes out to the thousandths, you're going to post it, or you're going to put it over the thousandths, and then you're going to simplify if necessary. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples. Our first example here is 56%. So to make that a fraction, what we're going to do is we're going to take 56, we're going to put it over 100, and then we're going to simplify. I can simplify 56 and 100, and I can simplify by 4, and it goes down to 425. Okay. To make 56% a decimal, we are going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, so we have a 0.56. Now we have the fraction 3/10. To make it a percent, okay, we're going to take 3/10 times 100, and that gives us 30, and we're going to attach the percent sign, so we get 30%. To make it a decimal, we're going to do our long division. We have 3 divided by 10, and when we do our long division, we get 0.3 as the decimal. Okay. For 0.79, to make that a percent, what we're going to do is we're going to swing our decimal point 2 times to the right, or we're going to multiply it by 100 and attach the percent sign. So 0.79 is just 79%. Now, to make this a fraction, this reads 79 hundredths. So we're going to take 79 and we're going to put it over 100. Now, we can't simplify 79 hundredths, so it's just going to stay 79 over 100. Okay, 23%. As a fraction, all we have to do is take 23 and put it over 100 and simplify if we can. We can't simplify, so it's going to stay exactly the same. To make it a decimal, we're going to move the decimal point 2 spaces to the left, and we get 0.23. Okay. 4/5. Okay, to get this to be a percent, we're going to take 4/5 and we're going to multiply it times 100. We get 80, and then we're going to attach the percent sign, so we get 80%. To make it a decimal, we're going to use our long division. We're going to take our numerator 4 divided by our denominator 5, and we get 0.8. Okay, and our last one, we have 0.03. To make it a percent, we're going to move that decimal point 2 times, or we're going to multiply it by 100, and we get 3%. To make it a fraction, our decimal reads 3/100. So we're going to take our 3, place it over 100. We can't simplify, so we just leave it 3/100.